Here now with reaction, the author of the #1 New York Times best-selling book. It's a children's book. It's Take Heart, My Child, A Mother's Dream. Fox and Friends co-host Ainsley Earhardt and Fox News contributor. By the way, first time since you've been a contributor, Taya Kyle is with us. Honor to have you both back. #1 New York Times bestseller.
Thank you. She's the hero. You know that.
Okay. All right, you both are heroes. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Why can't they just be honorable and say, okay, he's the guy of the year?
Yeah.
Now, they always say for good or bad, okay, he's not Adolf Hitler. It's not the divided states of America. It's the United States. We have a few differences, but it's always been that way.
Yeah, we've always had differences. I mean, that's part of being free and having different opinions. Usually we're one group with differing opinions, and we're still the same one group. Nobody's seceded. You know, nobody's really leaving the country.
California's on the verge.
They talk about it, right? I mean, Texas has talked about it too, but if they actually do it, we'll see. That's a whole other thing. I mean, there's one thing to throw a tantrum and say something extreme, which brings me to my other point, and that is that people have a voice now. With the internet and social media, everybody can be extreme. We have 315 million, plus people, and everybody gets that voice. I think when I'm at Walmart, when I'm in airports, when I'm in public all across this country with everyday people, we are not divided. We're very nice to each other. We're good, neighborly people. We look out for each other in line. We help each other out with our bags on the airplane.
I do that all the time. I'm helping everybody out online.
You're not in public and basic public anymore. So, so I'm just saying, like, that everyday people like me, we're fine. We're not divided. But social media,
this is mainstream media. They're upset that they didn't win. They like to have control. They don't like Donald Trump tweeting because they want to control the message. So, of course, they're going to put him on the cover and put the divided states of America. It's obvious he's going to be the most interesting man or person, like it or not. So he had to be on the cover. Everyone would have been blasting them if they hadn't put him on the cover. But in order to put him on the cover, they had to take a shot at him. He said it was rude, or he said it was snarky on the Today Show. I was asking some people who voted for him what they thought, and they said they're not surprised by it, but this is a slap in the face. They said that President Obama is the one that's divided the country, that ISIS wasn't even part of our country, that hits home for you, before President Obama took office, that companies were moving to Mexico. He's not even president yet, and he's already creating jobs or keeping carrier here in the country.
You grew up in South Carolina. You worked there in television. You worked in Texas on television. When you were on my radio show, when we were talking about your book, you talked about this other country.
Well, people in the middle, in what we call the flyover states, people in middle America, in the South, you're from Texas, we're just trying to put food on our table. We are trying to make our lives a little better for our children than what we had, and we're doing it the right way. We're working really hard. There are a lot of people I know. By the grace of God, we all have great jobs, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. But there are a lot of my friends that hate their job. They hate going to work every day. They're doing it to pay their bills. And that's Donald Trump is giving them a voice. It is not an elite group in Washington. It is not big city New York or big state California that's controlling this anymore.
New York, L.A., San Francisco. But look at the rest of the map.
Right.
It's mostly red.
Right.
We've gone through this now with two election cycles. In 2008, it was Barack Obama saying, these bitter Americans clinging to their God, guns, Bibles, religion. And
like, what's wrong with that?
Well, that's me. That's who I am. So, or irredeemable deplorables that Hillary Clinton used. It shows such a deep contempt.
They're sick of it.
And these same media people, they're all part of that establishment and that crowd, and they're all the ones that were surprised. I was not surprised by the outcome. I knew it was a hard path, but a doable path. They thought there was no chance that Donald Trump could win.
Right. Well, here's a perfect example. I read an article that said something about what Obama wanted to do after his presidency. And he was saying that the Democratic Party needed to get out, and they need to get out and talk to the people and tell them about their programs and tell them why it works and why they should vote the way they vote, right? So in my mind, what I'm hearing him say is that he needs to get out and indoctrinate the people into going with the theory that they've developed is best for the country.
He had 8 years.
Versus asking people, what do you want? That's what freedom is. That's what this democracy is. It's getting out and saying, people, what do you want? And let us go to government and represent you. And to me, that's a fundamental difference, and that's where it's getting lost. They want to create the narrative.
So go back to your friends that maybe people that you know in your life that don't like their jobs. I went through 20 years of blue-collar work in my life. It's not that I didn't like it. I like this a lot better.
Right.
But it's hard, and the average American has been struggling for 8 years, and I can't cite a single economic statistic that shows Obama's been successful.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that want to have big families, and they can't because they can't afford having more than 1 or 2 children. I have friends that are putting $7 in the tank when they go to the gas tank, $7.53, because that's all they have in their wallet, that are still bouncing checks or living paycheck to paycheck. And these are people, my friends, that are in their 40s. You know, it's not like we're in our 20s anymore when we all did that kind of thing to survive.
That was a long time ago for me, but yeah, for you girls, okay, 20s, you can still remember those years. Great.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, he gives them a voice, and he gives them hope that they're not, that he's not going to increase taxes, he's going to lower taxes, he's going to improve race relations, people are hoping, and he's just going to keep jobs here and keep our country safer.
That's why I call this election the forgotten man, forgotten woman election. Those are the people that won that for Donald Trump. Good to see you both. Congrats on your contributorship. Congrats on #1 on your book.
Thank you.